Hi there, Julie Russo here, creator of Structures of Equality, where we're making sense of math stories. If you're new to structures, they're a reading comprehension tool that helps students better understand number stories. Before we get started, make sure you remember to subscribe to my channel below. I post weekly videos with actionable tips. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified when they're available.
This story is from a document that my state shares with teachers to help us better understand the types of stories we need to expose our students to. They refer to it as a compare bigger unknown, where we're looking for the fewer or the less, which is most challenging for students. The story says, Nina has 3 pencils. Nina has 2 fewer pencils than Jameson. How many pencils does Jameson have? The first thing I would always do when I talk about story problems with students is ask them to identify characters, action, setting, and then I would ask them about the math main idea. The math main idea of this story describes a comparison relationship. We're comparing Nina's pencils to Jameson's pencils. Once we understand that, we know we're going to use a comparison structure of equality. I'd make sure all the students have strips like this in front of them, and at a glance, I'd be able to tell them, I'd be able to understand if they were tracking with me and they were understanding how to use the structure of equality. I would do that by asking them, who has fewer pencils? Well, the story says Nina has 2 fewer pencils than Jameson. Then I'd say, hold up the strip that represents Nina's pencils. And I expect them to hold up the pink strip. And then I would say, hold up the strip that represents Jameson's pencils. And they'd hold up the blue strip. I'd ask them, how do you know? Well, Jameson has more. Yes, Jameson does have more, but the story doesn't say that. The story says that Nina has 2 fewer pencils. So her strip would be shorter than Jameson's. She would have the shorter strip. So they'd have to go from Nina has fewer pencils to Jameson has more pencils, which is a challenge for some students. Once they do that, then I'd ask them to label their strips. So the unit or the label or the thing we're counting is pencils, but we need to label the strips by the person's name as well. So we put that in parentheses because that's not the thing we're counting or comparing. So I've done the work for us here already. I've got Nina's strip as the shorter strip and Jameson's strip as the longer strip. Now I'm just going to plug in what I know from the story. The story says that Nina has 3 pencils. So I've written that in here in Nina's strip. Nina has 3 pencils. The story then says Nina has 2 fewer pencils than Jameson. So I write the fewer up here. Some people are tempted to write the fewer down here, but nope, this is where the fewer is. We can't hold fewer. We don't have a strip that represents fewer, but we know that that's where the fewer is on our structure of equality. So then we have to do that leap again. If I know that Nina has 2 fewer, then Jameson must have 2 more pencils than Nina. So I can go ahead and write the 2 down here in the more or the extra part after my line of equality. This line of equality is a very helpful tool to have students see how Jameson's pencils can be decomposed into the part that is equal to Nina's and the more that he has. And if the students understand that line of equality, they know up until this point on Jameson's bar, the value of Jameson's pencils is the same as the value of Nina's pencils. So I can go ahead and write 3 in this bar right here. So I've decomposed once again Jameson's pencils into the more that he has and the part that is equal to the number of pencils that Nina has. And the question asks, how many pencils does Jameson have? And as you can see, it'd be very simple for the students to see that the part that is equal to Nina's plus the more tells us how many pencils Jameson has.
If you found this helpful, share it with a friend or check out the other videos I have available on my channel. For more free resources, join my email list and Facebook community. You can find the links below.